Hey, Huns, and welcome back to another episode of the Hey Hun podcast. So, here in the great state of Alabama, a lot of things have transpired within the last 30 days. More so within the last 4 days, there has been a lot of, let's say, commotion, if you will. It's almost like the goddess Oshun has come and is wreaking havoc as well because it has been raining nonstop here since Saturday. And it is just unbelievable the things that is going on here in this state. I don't know what's happening, what's in the water, what's in the air, or what, but I think I like it. So to get into what I'm talking about, I know everybody has been talking about it, and I was not going to talk about it simply because it has been talked about nonstop pretty much throughout the nation. So, I know everybody knows about it, but I did have to come in for one moment just to give my take because, that's what I do. But for things to happen the way that they happen in Montgomery, it hits a little bit different because where the Harriet docks was actually a slave depot or a slave port. And there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of raw emotion already. So once you're on that boat, which gives a lot of history anyway, yes, I've been on it and I loved it, but it gives a lot of history and it doesn't awaken anything as in anger or hatred, but you're just more aware of things that are going on. I'll say, and let me make myself clear. I do not condone violence. That is not what I'm saying. That is not what this video is about at all. Period. But I will say I do condone self-defense and coming to the aid of someone, as in being your brother's keeper. I'll condone that every day that I have breath. But what I wanted to know was your feelings. How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling embarrassed? Are you feeling indifferent? Are you feeling vindicated? Where are you on the spectrum? I know personally, I feel a sense of pride. And I know you may be thinking a sense of pride. Well, there was a fight. Yeah, there was a fight. But the reason for the fight or the brawl that everyone is calling it, I guess because that sounds a lot better. But the fact that we did come together makes my heart shine and beat one extra beat. But I'll say that it's not so much about the brawl and the fight. What gets me and warms my heart is the fact that this shows the people that look like me, that have the same hue attached to their complexion, is if we stand together, we are unstoppable. So let's not get all caught up in, which I know it's kind of hard not to, how things went and what transpired. But look at the larger picture. When we come together as one, we are unstoppable. And I hope that the droves of people that were there and that saw it, and all of us that saw it on social media and the different news outlets, I hope that that's what we got from it, because that's the initial thing that came into my psyche. Like, hey, once we become a collective. And I keep repeating that because I want people to not just listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, but to hear me. Unstoppable is one. Absolutely unstoppable. Because there is a narrative out there about us of fear. And all that we are about is being violent and, unruly and being a savage. But like to change the narrative. If you don't start, nothing won't be nothing. Because 9 times out of 10, we're not coming for the fight. Because that's how I was raised. And I know many others were raised the same way. Don't ever start a fight, but you better end it. And that is pretty much what was shown on that dock, where the Harriet docks, on that old slave trade depot. We are here, but we're here in a different manner. You can't do what you did then, now, because that's not going to work. So we're changing the narrative, and we shouldn't let anybody else write our narrative for us anyway. That's one thing, which I'm glad that it's been done for so long, but I'm glad that now we're showing in a different light who we actually are. No news outlet is in control of what was shown to us. We were our own reporters. We were our own photojournalists. We put out the story, the truth. We made sure the narrative said what was supposed to be said about us. Another thing that warms my heart, because like I said, I won't get into it, but like I said, the narrative has been so different for so long. So glad that there is a change. But the other thing that I wanted to get into is here in Alabama, I know a lot of people may not realize, but Selma is a really small space compared to Birmingham and Montgomery and Mobile and places like that, and Huntsville. It's small and it's rural. And in places like that, people have a tendency to live in their small world where things are just mainly about how they see them and how things have been only for them. Like they don't realize that there is another way that things operate in different parts of the world. So when you're like that, or when you are raised like that, or it's been ingrained in you that you are, you can huff and puff and stick your chest out because that is who you are, because that's how things have been in your area and that's all that you know, you have a tendency to act the way that those people acted on their boat and about their boat, which in turn got you arrested, got people arrested. You went to have a good time and other people went to have a good time, but you and your friends and your family, one which was a teacher and a family owned, 3 whole generation owned mini mart. You all ended up, at least 3 of you ended up with warrants. Richard Roberts, he ended up with 2 warrants just by himself. Both warrants were for 3rd-degree assault. I'm just saying. But we violent. Alan Todd, 3rd-degree assault. Zachary Shipman, 3rd-degree assault. But we're the violent ones. Now the police there in Montgomery are actually talking about speaking to the feds, which they already have spoken to the feds about, seeing if this actually qualifies as a hate crime. Oh, okay. That brings about a lot of difference when we start. We won't even get into it, but yeah. You went on a Saturday boat ride. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they were drunk. Okay. If you can't handle it, don't do it. Because if this would have been the other way around and people that look like me would have tried to attack someone that looks like them, things would have been completely different. There would not be an opportunity for these people to turn themselves in and all the other hoopla that's going on. I feel like personally, because I live in the great state of Alabama, that they would have been arrested and not released. They would have been arrested immediately, not just handcuffed and released, but arrested and still there. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Now, Unc, which he is so affectionately talked about on social media. His name actually is Reggie Gray. Now, as I was recording this, there weren't any charges brought up against him as of yet, but they do still want to talk to him because Unc was wielding a chair like it was a lightsaber from Star Wars. But yeah, they want to actually talk to him. So what I would like for you guys to do, and I'll post it in the comment section of this video, is go to, let's not just talk about things, but let's go to, these people have GoFundMe set up for Unc and for other people. I think they have one that's like collective for everybody, and then they have one just specifically for him. I will put the links down, like I said, at the bottom. So if you guys feel, $5, $10, anything, because we don't know yet what may come to pass, what may happen later down the line, but we do want to make sure that everyone is taken care of, because like I said earlier, yes, we are our brother's keeper. Whether we know him or not, we are our brother's keeper. We need to show that we can band together when it comes to fisticuffs and when it comes to anything else, but yeah. I think that my personal, I'm not trying to push my beliefs on anyone else, but my personal is, when I asked you about your feelings earlier and I was saying, mine was a sense of pride, I also feel that justice prevailed in this case. Justice prevailed because we looked out for one another, and it was shown, no matter what other people said, it was shown. Provocation. This just didn't happen and come out of the woodwork and, this man was just violent. He was doing his job. And other people came and did their job. Pretty much, And I will say that because this has garnered national attention, that we have moved the needle somewhat. Again, for the narrative, and maybe justice-wise, we've moved it a little bit. We still have a long way to go. But the fact that we've gotten this much attention for being, I hate to say brutalized, but pretty much that gentleman, that dock worker, for being brutally attacked, because it was about 7 or 8 of them, for being attacked. Yeah. I feel like justice has prevailed, and the needle has to be moved a lot further, but we're making some progress. And I say, let's continue to make progress. Let's continue to do it. Let's stay vigilant, but safe, because we don't want it to end up to be something where, there was a firearm involved, or, a knife or anything. We don't want it to be any type weapon where someone actually loses their lives, or is injured tragically or anything. We don't want that, but still stay vigilant. If you see someone that needs help, I am my brother's keeper needs to come to mind. That doesn't always mean that you have to do it with your fist. It could be, mitigating the situation. It could be calling. But I think and I feel that the days of us standing by and going, ooh, that's not my problem. Ooh, did you see that, girl? Let me tell you, are over. The days of us standing, on the wayside and it's not my issue, not my problem, or, not my circus, not my monkey. Those days are gone, I feel like. And I think on Saturday, we made the ancestors proud. I feel like Nat Turner is going, that's what I was telling you. That's what I was telling you. That's what I was trying to get y'all to see. Maybe not so much along the lines of how he did it, but the idea of us standing together is what I'm saying. Again, I'm not calling for violence. So all of you guys that know what I'm talking about when I say Nat Turner, or I'd like for you to go and look it up. I'm not calling for violence. I'm talking about the other part with being together and correcting wrongs. That's the part I'm talking about. So please, 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 please don't misquote me, okay? And I think that the when I talk about ancestors, those are the ancestors I'm talking about. And a lot of people are saying, well, we are not our ancestors. Some of them, yes, we are, because I feel like I'm a product of my ancestors, and I say that. I shouldn't say it this way, but I say that with pride because my grandfather had to come to Birmingham. He was not originally from Birmingham. Pretty much because of the same type situation. But as I say, my grandfather, that was a different time. That was when a black man's life was not worth anything at all. Not even considered a man. So with my grandfather having to leave, that tells you exactly what happened. I might as well tell you too. My grandfather had to leave because his hometown, because the laws and the way that things went back then is you didn't smile, laugh, when you didn't talk, whatever, and as the story goes, as my grandfather told me, that he didn't tip his hat to a gentleman that was not African American or of African descent, and he did not move from the sidewalk, and this gentleman felt like he was disrespected, and he decided that my grandfather had to pay. Unbeknownst to him, he had to pay that day on that street, on that same sidewalk. It's highly unfortunate that it had to come to that, but I will say I'm glad that it happened, because that caused my grandfather to come to Birmingham, where he met my grandmother, and so the story goes. So yeah, it started off being rough, but it ended up, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to know that I have the roots from people that taught me to stand my ground, believe in something, not to just let anyone say anything to you, do anything to you, and treat you any type way, and you do exactly the same. And I feel like a lot of that upbringing came from that situation. I don't know, but I feel that that's where it came from. Even now, just speaking about this, I get a little emotional because if you knew my grandfather, he didn't even raise his voice. My grandfather was the type of man that if he were to call you, you wouldn't hear him. He had a whistle that he would do. He would whistle if he was across the street, and you knew that meant he needed you to come to him. So, yeah. To let you know how far things have come. And, I got emotional. To know that there are people out there who still stand up for what is right. My heart leaps out of my chest with gratefulness and gratitude. So I'm going to end here because I'm getting way more emotional than I should, and more than anyone has ever seen. So what I want you guys to do is always, like I said, stay vigilant, but safe. Stay ready. And when I say stay ready, I mean stay ready with your cameras and not any other way. Stay ready to record, because one of the things that the officers said to the lady that was recording, the lady that was commentating, was, "Ma'am, can I see your phone? Because we may need to use it for evidence." So stay ready, stay vigilant, and stay safe. So as always, until we meet next time, again, stay safe, love hard, and laugh loud.